You know the feeling. The neighbors' karaoke sessions that go way too late, the endless construction noise, or that fence that somehow seems to be creeping into your yard inch by inch. Look, these aren't just small annoyances, right? They can totally disrupt the peace and quiet of your own home. So today, we're going to unpack the legal tools you have right here in Malaysia to protect what's yours. Maybe for you, it's that thumping bass from next door that literally makes your windows shake. Or maybe a neighbor just keeps parking their car in a way that blocks your gate. Or, hey, what about that new extension that's suddenly blocking all the sunlight from your garden? These are the real-world, everyday problems that property law was built to solve. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Your home is your sanctuary. It's supposed to be your private, peaceful space. The law gets this, and it gives you two main shields to defend it: nuisance and trespass. Now, they might sound kind of similar, but trust me, they protect your sanctuary in very different ways. Okay, if you only remember one thing, make it this. Trespass is a direct physical invasion. Think of it like someone literally crossing a line onto your property. Nuisance, on the other hand, is more indirect. It's about things like smells or sounds or vibrations that mess with your ability to enjoy your property. So trespass protects your possession, while nuisance protects your enjoyment. It's a huge difference. All right, let's kick things off with nuisance. This is your go-to legal tool when you're dealing with those indirect but oh so frustrating problems that spill over from your neighbor's property onto yours. The key word here, the one the courts care about most, is unreasonable. See, the law isn't there to step in for every little thing that bugs you. A neighbor having a one-off birthday party? Probably not a nuisance. But them having a loud party every single weekend that keeps you from sleeping? Now that could very well be an unreasonable interference. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because it's not just about what you think is unreasonable. The courts in Malaysia actually have a sort of checklist, a framework they use to decide if something has crossed that line from just being annoying to being illegal. So what the courts do is this really careful balancing act. They'll look at things like the character of your neighborhood. Is it a quiet residential area or a busy industrial zone? They'll look at how often the interference happens and for how long. They'll even consider if you might be, well, a little too sensitive. And crucially, they'll look at the motive behind it all. Oh yeah, motive can be a total game changer. There's this classic old case about a music teacher giving lessons in her home. Her neighbor got so fed up that, out of pure spite, he started banging pots and pans on the wall every time she had a student. The court said, look, the music lessons were perfectly reasonable, but the neighbor's actions, because they were driven by malice, were an unreasonable nuisance. His bad attitude made all the difference. Okay, now let's switch gears and talk about trespass. And if nuisance is about navigating those gray areas of enjoyment, trespass is about as black and white as it gets. We're talking about a direct, physical violation of your property line. The definition is pretty much what you'd expect. It's all about physically crossing a boundary onto someone's land without their permission. This law protects your fundamental right to say who can and who cannot step foot on your property. Simple as that. Now, this little legal phrase is the secret weapon of trespass law. It means it's actionable per se. In plain English, you don't have to prove any damage happened. This simple act of them crossing that boundary is by itself the legal wrong. They could walk on your lawn without harming a single blade of grass, and it's still trespass. And don't just think of trespass as footprints in your garden. It takes a lot of forms. Inviting a guest over who then refuses to leave, they become a trespasser. A builder dumping materials on your land without asking, that's a continuing trespass. And get this, your property rights extend up into the sky and down into the ground. So a construction crane swinging over your house, or someone laying pipes under your soil without permission, yep, also trespass. Okay, you get the difference now, but knowing isn't enough. How do you actually prove it? Well, this section is your playbook, because whether it's nuisance or trespass, a strong case is always built on a foundation of solid evidence. For a nuisance claim, your single most powerful weapon is a detailed logbook. Seriously. Write down everything: the date, the time, how long the noise or smell lasted, and exactly how it affected you. Did it give you a headache? Did it wake up your kids? Back all of that up with photos, video or audio recordings, maybe even statements from other neighbors who are also affected. This is how you turn your frustration into facts. Now, evidence for trespass is usually way more direct. Your doorbell camera or CCTV footage is your best friend here. It's hard to argue with the video. Photos of footprints, a broken lock, or a damaged fence are also crucial. And having an official property survey is the ultimate trump card for proving exactly where your boundary line is. It's all about showing a clear physical event.
All right, so let's say you've built your case, you've gathered your evidence, and you've won. What now? What can the court actually do for you? Well, the law has a whole arsenal of remedies designed to give you your peace back.
You're looking at three main options. First, there's damages. That's cold, hard cash to compensate you for any harm done. The second, and often the most important, is an injunction. That's a court order telling your neighbor to stop. Finally, there's something called abatement, or self-help, but you have to be really careful with this one. Things like trimming a neighbor's overhanging branches yourself can get you into a whole new world of trouble if you do it wrong.
Let's zero in on the injunction for a second, because this is the big one. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a powerful binding court order. In Malaysia, it's all laid out in the Specific Relief Act 1950. It can be a prohibitory injunction, which basically means stop doing that, or in some cases, a mandatory one, which means you have to do this, like tear down a fence that's on my land.
So here's the bottom line. The law provides a really clear path when you need it. These tools are powerful and they're there to protect you. But it's always worth remembering that the goal is to live peacefully in a community. Sometimes a simple, respectful conversation can solve a problem before it ever needs to get to the legal stage. And that's really what this is all about. Understanding that line between an indirect interference and a direct invasion gives you power. So the next time your peace is disturbed, you can ask yourself, is this a nuisance? Is it a trespass? Or are they just being a bit inconsiderate? Because now you know exactly what to look for.